Hey gang, Voltie here. Today we're going to be talking about the Plenty of Games Winter Library event over last weekend. The VODs are available on Twitch for that event. However, the matches, I'm doing some re-records at the moment, so they'll be coming in the coming days. However, I do have the deck list and the stats from the event, which we can talk about today. So to start things off, we had 81 total players. We had 7 rounds of Swiss with a top 8. And an interesting fact, the top 8 decks were 8 unique decks across 6 different archetypes. And what were they? We had Luris Breach, Lutri Grixis, Sultai Reanimator, non-Lutri Grixis, Gorgeous Reanimator, Shops, a Team of Midrange deck, and 4-color without red Nadu Walks. Getting into the most played pointed cards of the weekend, we have Force of Will, Deathrite, Reanimate, Psychic Frog, and Fable, which were recent additions to the points list, Orcish Bowmasters, Ancient Tomb, Urza Saga, Nadu, and Mystical Tutor. So not too much of a difference from the last couple of stats and last couple of events. However, notably the White Plume Adventurer and Caves of Chaos Adventurer and Seasoned Dungeoneer didn't appear much this weekend. The top cards by point buy, we have Time Walk, Luris, Force of Will, Deathrite, Reanimate, Psychic Frog, Fable, Minskimbu, Orcish Bowmasters, White Plume Adventurer, and Flash. So of this list we have Time Walk, Luris, Minskimbu, White Plume Adventurer, and Flash as the only ones that cost more than 1 point. The most played mainboard cards in order were Misstep, Brainstorm, Thoughtseize, Inquisition, Ponder, Probe, Lightning Bolt, Mishra's Bauble, Tamiyo, and Daze. This is pretty similar to the last couple of events. I think the biggest outlier that we've had recently is Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. It is the only card in the top 10 that is a creature. Previously we had Fury up there, and Fable sort of being a creature, but now the top dog appears to be Tamiyo. The most played sideboard cards were the 2 Rebs, the 2 Bebs, Submerge, Carpenter Flowers, Duress, Collector Oof, Unlicensed Hearst, and Ashok Dreamrender. Carpenter Flowers and Collector Oof are the big changes from some of the other sideboard lists that we've had. Carpenter Flowers has gone up quite a bit, and Submerge, being the most played non-blast sideboard card, is a change from some of the previous ones. Notably, Ghost Vacuum has fallen off. The top pointed cards in terms of performance by the top 8 conversion factor were Vampiric Tutor, Mishra's Workshop, Lutri, Dreadhorde, Sol Ring, Caves of Chaos, Mana Drain, Psychic Frog, Force of Will, and Reanimate. As a reminder, this list is the cards that performed really well over the course of the weekend in comparison to what we would expect them to see. So despite Force of Will putting quite a lot of copies in the top 8, because there were so many in the room, it only comes in on this particular list at 9th. Vampiric Tutor and Mishra's Workshop, however, had very few copies in the room, but put quite a couple of copies in top 8. The top pointed cards by winning deck conversion factor, so this is a bigger range here, were Mishra's Workshop, Black Lotus, Mana Vault, Comet, Profane Tutor, Tolarian Academy, Caves of Chaos Adventurer, Fable, and then there were 16 cards that all came in tied at 1.375, which is still a respectable score, and you can check what those cards were from the stat sheet that'll be linked below. The big winners of the weekend undoubtedly were Mishra's Workshop and the Shops deck in general, and Bazaar of Baghdad and the Reanimator decks in general. There were quite a lot of mid-range decks and initiative decks and what you would normally expect to see over the course of an event. However, there weren't that many Shops players in the room, there weren't that many Bazaars and that many Reanimator decks in the room, but they did rise to the top. And we had multiple copies in the winning decks category, as well as a couple of copies for both archetypes spread across top 8. Otherwise, if you want to check out the event and the stats down below, there's a link to the spreadsheet. You can have a read, you can work out what's going on there, but otherwise, look out for the stats and the data from CanCon, and we'll see you next time.